Hi, it's me, MCAT. Oh dear. Well, hello. We're gonna practice together for um, about 30 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less. And welcome to Comeback Yoga. Uh, this is level 2 class. We are practicing um, yoga that is beneficial for people who have um, served in the military or who are serving in the military. That's the type of yoga that we do. And um, Comeback Yoga is a nonprofit. You can find us at comebackyoga.org. You can find us at in person classes around Colorado. And you can join here on our YouTube channel. Um, you can watch lots of videos that we have available to you. So please feel free to join the community and come and take classes whenever you can. We're starting out in a seated position, preferably with a cat sitting next to you. I'm just kidding. Um, she she'll go away in a minute. Um, you can fold up your legs and give yourself a tall spine, and let your arms come down and be by your sides. I like to put one hand inside the other, palms up and thumbs touching. Turn your attention to your breath, your inhales and your exhales. Giving yourself breath awareness is a big part of yoga, and you can be practicing that even when you're like waiting in line for something, or um, if you're in your car, you can practice breath awareness. A really basic part of yoga that you can do absolutely anywhere. Breath awareness is a really great tool. It can help with all kinds of things. Being aware of your internal situation. You're listening to your inhales and your exhales, feeling those. Okay, let's move our spine in most of the ways that it can move. We'll do gentle turns side to side and do a big stretch over, curves side to side, left and right. We'll round our backs. Bring your arms forward, your head forward, round it out. And lean into your arms, lift your rib cage, stretch out front of your body. Lengthen your spine by stretching out the natural curves of your spine, and then soften up and bring your spine back to its regular neutral state. Move legs, hips in different ways, and stick one leg out and roll on your heel. You're rotating your thigh. And bring your leg toward you. And we'll turn and bring your thigh away and stretch out. It's the tiger stretch. Stick your leg out, and we're just doing the other side. Rotate your thigh left and right, and bring your leg in toward your chest. Bring your thigh away from your torso and tiger stretch. Now we moved our thighs in a bunch of different directions. Move our arms and shoulders. You can sit back down. We'll cross in front and cross in front with the other arm on the top. And we'll bring the arms around behind us, one from underneath and one from overhead. And switch which arm is on top. Nice. And then let your arms come down. Okay, we've moved in lots of different directions. Spines, hips, shoulders. And we'll come down onto our backs and switch it up a little bit, change the relationship to gravity in a pose called camel. Camel can be done in lots of different ways. We'll start with a really supported camel with your feet on the floor and your upper back on the floor and your shoulders on the floor. You can press down, and this variation is called bridge. So you're lifting up a little bit and letting your hips come down. And in this bridge pose, you could slide one hand maybe back behind the back of your neck. Make sure your back of your neck has plenty of space when you lift your hips. You're more or less keeping the natural curve of your neck when you lift and lower your hips. The other thing you want in bridge pose is to keep your inner thighs engaged, keep your knees right over your heels. And when you lift and lower, you're using this kind of power of your lower body and stretching yourself out. You're lengthening your hip flexors, stretching out all the space in the front of your body from your low ribs down towards your thighs. And your upper body just kind of stays quiet and is supported, resting on the floor, and your feet stay more or less kind of quiet. Let's turn this into the happy baby pose. A lot of times we do happy baby pose at the end of class, and this time we're going to do happy baby pose in the middle, towards the beginning. I like to hold on to the backs of my legs. You can also hold on to your feet and stick the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling. You could not hold on to your feet at all. Just kick around like this. Purpose of this pose is to stretch your low back and your hips. If you start to feel like there's too much pressure in any area, you can always put your feet down and rock around and keep your feet on the floor and rock. Happy baby pose a lot of times is done with your feet in the air, but it doesn't have to be done that way. Just accomplishing the same thing with your feet on the floor. All right. Our basic shape is that shins and stretching out the front part of our bodies. Your feet, your shins are kind of parallel to something, the wall or the floor or the ceiling. Let's turn it around. You can turn onto your, sorry about that. Turn onto your stomach and we'll stretch out a little bit. Interlace your fingers and stretch our legs long. You can look straight forward. Let's start to move one shoulder forward and the other shoulder forward. We're stretching out your back, shoulders, especially your upper back. And walk your legs towards each other a little bit, and we'll come into a plank position. You can be on your forearms and your knees, or you could be on your toes, however you feel like you want to do your plank today. Lowering down, you can put your forearms onto the floor, put your head down, and bend your knees and bring your heels up. So here's that same position. We've got shins parallel to the wall. And how do we stretch the front part of our bodies? We lift our rib cage, peel your rib cage away from the floor. Think about how you're going to do that first. You can give yourself a little bit of time, then square your shoulders and your hips. Look forward. Press your hands into the floor and lift and lower a couple times. This is easing into the bow pose. You can keep your hands on the floor, or you could reach back and hold on to one foot. This will be the half bow pose. You could reach back and hold on to one foot. You don't have to hold on to your feet, it's just an option. Easing into the bow pose here. And then you can reach, and here we are. It's like an upside down bird pose. Different relationship to gravity. Just stretching out the front part of your body, but now you're using gravity to help you get stronger. Breathe in, breathe out. Monitor your breathing. Release down. Let go of your legs. You can put one hand on top of the other and rest a little bit. Wiggle your heels left and right. Drop yourself up onto your forearms. Let's come back into any plank position. You might be in straight arms too. This plank is like a beginning of a push-up position. And we'll make our way into downward facing dog. You can do this variation where your shins are on the floor and your arms are outstretched and your chest and your head are approaching the floor. This is, sometimes people call it puppy pose. And you can do this variation where you're on your forearms and straight legs. People call that dolphin pose sometimes. And you can do the variation where on your hands and your feet. You might hear this called AMS, Adho Mukha Svanasana. You might call it downward facing dog, down dog. People call it all kinds of stuff. So basically, you're making a triangle with your body and you're lengthening your spine and let gravity stretch you out. Gravity stretch your shoulders and your hips. The more you lean back, so lean into it, you're helping gravity stretch you out. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's step 1 foot forward, doesn't matter which. We'll lift up into a standing position. Since we're already up here, let's stand. We'll come into a warrior two. Front knees bent, back legs long. You can take your arms out to a T, palms down. And straighten, turn your toes towards the long edge of your mat. Put your hands on your upper glutes, bend your knees a little bit, and lean. We're opening up the front sides of our bodies today and finding that shape of bridge and bow and camel. And turn the other way, finding warrior two, and extend your arms. Palms down and look forward in the direction that you're going. And turn towards the long edge of your mat. Put your hands on your upper glutes. This has helped. It helps open up your chest a little and lean. I'm bending my knees a little so I can lean back and open up my chest. And come into neutral position. Roll through your shoulders. Let's turn to your original position once again, turning, and let's find warrior one with arms forward and chest lifted. This is a more simplified version. If you want to challenge your balance a lot, you can turn a little more and lift your back heel. You can press your elbows towards each other. Breathe. You might notice I'm feeling this a lot in the front of my hip and thigh here. Giving ourselves extra opportunity to stretch out. Put your back heel down. Bring your arms into one up, one down, and tilt into triangle pose. Let's switch legs. You turn and you're squaring. You might need to walk your back foot out a little bit. And you want to give yourself a little more, you can pick up your back heel. And when you lift your back thigh, you're stretching out in front of this area here. Bring your arms out in front of you and try lifting your rib cage. And breathe. Most important part is breathing. Practicing breath awareness all throughout your class, all throughout your day, practicing breath awareness. Start to learn a lot of stuff. Nice job. Back heel down. And we're turning a little bit and finding the triangle pose is tilt. I like triangle. Try to practice poses that you like. Not exclusively the poses that you like, but try to practice those poses that you like and Notice what happens to your breath, practicing breath awareness. What happens to your breath when you practice a pose that you like? And try to expand that. Keep breathing like that. Breathe in, breathe out. And we'll lift up. Turn your toes forward. Let's do one more where you're leaning a little. You can keep your hands on the fronts of your thighs this time. Just lean back a little, bend your knees, open your chest a little, and lift up. Let's walk together. Step together at the top of your mat. Inhale to reach way up. Exhale, bring your arms out wide. Hinge forward, put your hands on the fronts of your legs. We're coming into a forward fold. Forward fold could be pretty high up, or you could be pretty folded with your hands on the floor. Maybe your torso comes down towards your thighs. And we're stepping back with one foot back. Put your back knee on the floor. We're gonna move into low lunge. So one leg forward, one leg back. This time you could bring your arms forward, or you could bring your arms way up overhead. For me, this is a little more intense stretch of my leg that's behind. Breathe in and breathe out. And start to tilt forward. Put one hand on the floor and take your other arm back up towards the ceiling. We'll lift. Simply switch sides. One leg forward, one leg back. We're leaning. Try to square and take your arms up and overhead. And one hand comes down, your other arm reaches up towards the ceiling. And bring yourself into kneeling position. I do this pose last out of this sequence of the three. We did bridge pose, then bow pose, then camel pose. That's the order that I find them, the level of difficulty for me in my body. I find bridge pose easiest, and then bow pose next, a little more challenging, and camel pose the most challenging for my body. You might be experiencing that in a different way. I'm inviting you to notice that. Notice how it feels in your body to compare those three poses. At the end, we're going to do all three poses one after the other in just a little bit after we do this camel pose. But you're squaring, shins are in line, your hands on your upper glutes, lengthen up, stretch, and we've opened up the front part of our bodies, and we're ready now to do a little lean back. This is a very chill camel pose. You can do a pretty intense camel pose, and a lot of you know what I mean. And just do this super chill camel, really breathing in and out. Stretch and lengthen. Lift. Let's come back to center line. Great job. Hands down. Move into a cat pose and a cow pose. Okay, let's find one more. Let's come onto our backs and find the bridge pose first. Square, arms down. You want to leave your arms down and kind of reach your fingers down towards your heels. Lots of space at the back of your neck. Breathe in, breathe out. Lower down, take your time. Coming onto your side and coming onto your stomach. Bend your knees. Reach your hands back toward your feet. They might touch. You don't have to. And stretch out. And let go. Bring yourself up into the cat pose. And then lift into kneeling. And we're finding one more camel pose. Hands on your upper glutes. Now, sometimes people put blocks behind them. If you have blocks, you could use your blocks. Sometimes people reach their hands back towards their heels and lift like this. Breathe in, breathe out. And replace hands on your upper glutes. Lift yourself back. Come back to neutral spine. And we'll bring ourselves back into the table. Tuck into the cat pose. Ease down into child's pose. Let's sit again. You can move yourself into any resting position you want. You can stay seated, you can lie down, you can stick your legs up the wall. One more time, monitor your breathing. If you went away from that practice while we were doing that exploration of that body position, just bring yourself back into that breath awareness. Notice your breath. It's the most basic form of meditation. It's becoming aware of your breath. Listen to your inhales and your exhales. Learn about it. Be curious. Notice your breath. You can stay in resting position for as long as you want to. And then whenever you're ready, you can bring yourself back up to a tall spine. You can rub your hands together. Notice the effects of practice. Soft inhale breath through your nose. And exhale. Thanks so much for practicing with me today and with the cat. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I look forward to practicing with you again soon. Um, please go to comebackyoga.org and find out more about our organization and how you can be part of the community. You're so welcome and so needed. I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.